And PIX11 is your election headquarters, and before New Yorkers head to the polls to pick the next governor in 2022, we want to get to know all of the candidates vying for the job.
That's right. So on Monday, Congressman Tom Suozzi was the latest Democrat to join what's already shaping up to be a very crowded primary race.
Everything I've done in my career has prepared me for this particular job at this particular time. I like to call myself a common sense Democrat. Politicians are too focused on being politically correct. I'm focused on doing the correct thing for the people of New York. The far right and the far left has gone too far, and they're stopping us from getting things done.
Congressman Suozzi's decision to run for governor means his seat in the House of Representatives may be up for grabs and could give Republicans the upper hand on Capitol Hill.
So we're checking in with the gubernatorial candidate himself this morning. Congressman Suozzi, good to see you and welcome to PIX11. Thanks for being here.
Good morning, Dan and Hazel.
Good morning.
So, Congressman, we just heard in that campaign video that you're calling yourself a common sense Democrat, right? What does that exactly mean to the voter?
You know, people are sick and tired of politics, everybody pointing fingers at each other. They want you to get things done. And throughout my career as a mayor, as a county executive, as a member of Congress, my training as a CPA and attorney, I always focus on just trying to solve the problem. How can I work together with people to try and find the answer that will make people's lives better? I don't care if you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you're a progressive, you're a moderate. Just let's work together to solve the problems and make people's lives better.
Okay. Yeah, it's a big job. So what do you see as the top 3 priorities for the next governor to tackle?
Well, you know, I've laid out a vision for the future of the state where I want to focus on lowering taxes. I mean, we have to make New York State more attractive for people. It's too unaffordable. It's too difficult right now. So I want to lower property taxes and lower income taxes. I want to fight crime, especially in New York City. I want to try and get homeless people off the streets and into mental health facilities and housing, try and help people, but get them off the streets. I want to make sure that we continue to promote the environment, and I want to help kids in schools that have been left behind. We have too many schools where these babies have poor performance in schools, and then they're destined to a life where they can't succeed. So I want all kids to have an opportunity. We have to do that by taking our existing social service programs and bringing them into our schools.
Right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty then of some of those factors, right, and some of the big things that matter to all New Yorkers. And of course, one of them is safety. Gun violence declared a public health crisis across New York, right? So what in particular is your plan to reduce crime throughout the state?
Well, we need more cops on the street, quite frankly. We need to get back the special units that Mayor Adams has talked about. We have to empower our judges to make sure that they have the power to take dangerous offenders off the streets. Right now, as part of bail reform, which made sense to make sure that we addressed historic inequities where people charged with the same crime, somebody's got money, the other one doesn't have money. The person who has money gets out, the person who doesn't have money gets stuck in jail. We still have to give judges the power to look at the whole case and the history and take dangerous offenders off the streets.
So do you think, because this is very hot button issue right now on the topic of bail reform, that it needs to be tweaked and it needs to be altered? Because that comes from Albany. Yeah,
it absolutely needs to be fixed. And we need to give judges this discretion to take dangerous offenders off the streets. That's the key to this whole thing. That's what happens in most other states.
Yeah, so then it begs the question, what about Rikers? How do you feel about that? What do you think should be done there?
You know, I went to visit Rikers Island, and it's a disgrace. I mean, I was the county executive of a county that was rated the worst run county in America before I got there. And we had our jail was put under a federal monitor because of the same type of problems. And as soon as I walked into Rikers, I saw it. The infrastructure's falling apart. Everybody says, close Rikers, close Rikers. Okay, let's close Rikers. That'll take 5 or 6 years. In the meanwhile, you have to make sure that the physical infrastructure is in place and that the management team is doing its job on a regular basis. It's unsafe for the corrections officers, it's unsafe for the prisoners, and it's a disgrace. It's inhuman. So they're working on it now, but we can't ignore this problem. We can't say, oh, we're going to close Rikers in 5 or 6 years. We've got to take care of it right now.
So get it fixed right now, but are you in favor of closing it for those community-based jails?
You know, I haven't really studied it carefully, but I mean, a lot of experts and people I respect are saying that we should close it. So I'm okay with supporting that. But in the meanwhile, we have an immediate emergency right in front of us right now. You can't close it, even if everybody agreed to it, for 5 or 6 years.
Right.
We got to fix it right now.
All right, let's switch gears a little bit. I mean, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. Families struggling to get back on their feet following it. And inflation is at an all-time high. So what is your plan to ease the burden on working class families?
Well, my big issue is related to property taxes and income taxes. That's the big thing. And there's other things here. I'm working here in Washington to try and get the president to try and address inflation. But we have to accept the fact that we have to be very, very vigilant against COVID. Because if we shut down the economy, forget about the fact that we're scared, the hospitalizations and people dying. If we shut down the economy again, we're going to be in major trouble here in New York. We don't want to go back to where tourists can't come here, where restaurants are shut down, where Broadway's shut down. We have got to be vigilant every single day. And this is a concern I have about what's going on right now. Every single day, COVID has to be a priority for the governor of New York State. There should be an executive briefing coming out of the executive chambers every single day. You know, you say what you want about Andrew Cuomo when he was the governor of New York State. One thing he did do right, even with flaws, okay, forget about that, the flaws for a second. He had a briefing every single day on COVID. We were always on top of what was going on, and we are having an explosion of cases. For the first time, the state average is up to 5% infection rate. Upstate New York, in Western New York, it's a red zone. There's like 10% rate of infection. So we have to be watching our borders. We have to be watching the airports. We have to be doing testing. I mean, boosters. Right. We have to make sure that there are booster locations all throughout the state.
Congressman Suozzi, we are simply out of time here, but there's a lot more to talk to you about. We'll have you back because I'm very curious as if this didn't work out, would you work in an Adams administration? I know you turned that job down, but we're out of time. But we'll get into
Eric Adams is a great guy. I'll do everything I can to help him. Everything I can do to help him. He's got a great vision. We share the same vision, but I can help him best as governor of New York State.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here today. We'll talk to you along the campaign.
Thanks so much for the time.